2020 has been a challenging year. The onset of COVID-19 has driven many industries to a standstill. Yet, some companies have managed to grasp the silver lining amidst the pandemic. Let's take a look at how some companies have turned this crisis into an opportunity and how leveraging on tech can help us emerge stronger in a post-COVID world.
I'm Brian, founder and CEO of Pointcode. At Pointcode, we are a digital healthcare provider offering on-demand telemedicine services via real-time video communication. So what this really means is that we've redefined the typical experience of seeing a doctor into a clinic into a process that takes place entirely on your mobile application from the comfort of your home. You are able to have a medical video consultation with our doctors for a range of chronic and acute conditions, and including having medications fulfilled at your doorstep.
Hi, my name is Gary. I'm founder CEO of DiMuto. Now, what DiMuto does is really trying to solve the problem of global trade. What we have is a problem where we see global trade operating in a silo environment, and it's very difficult to get the information from the farm to the fork. What we do is to get the digital ID at the source so that we can actually see the movement of goods, money, and services. Now, with this visibility, we are tackling the bigger issues of food waste, food traceability, and then food safety.
I'm Dixie, Head of Operations at TaTa Singapore, and we are a ride-hailing application whose aim is to create a positive mobility ecosystem for the people we serve. And we do that via a zero-commission platform, which our drivers enjoy. And as the core of our business is really focused on how to bring about a more positive impact to the people we serve. And that is the main reason why we started TaTa Fresh Market in the middle of the pandemic. At the start, the greatest challenge was to get the vendors to sell their items on our platform, because they have always been very traditional in doing their business, and to sell their items on an e-commerce platform was very new to them. So we had to spend time to convince them, to explain to them every step of the way how it will be like listing a product on an e-commerce platform. And after they have seen how our sales actually helped their businesses, they are all very excited to list their new products on our website now. And they also start to recommend their friends from other markets even to sell their items on our platform.
Well, when COVID-19 hit, I think it's kind of one where it disrupted the whole industry, and many of the players in this industry, fundamentally the buyers and the sellers, everything came to a standstill. What we were doing as a company was we really went ahead of the curve trying to create all these innovations that we think was necessary for the industry. And at that time when we were doing all this innovation, we thought that the industry itself wasn't ready yet. We would still have to educate it. But because of COVID, it solved a problem that we were worried about, because suddenly everybody woke up to the reality that no, we need to innovate, and we need to innovate now. And our technology was at the right place at the right time. We need to speed up our collaborations and getting the right parties involved into the market and getting the product deployed as quickly as possible. And that sort of put a bit of a strain to the organization, but it was a good problem that we were trying to solve.
So for us, we experienced significantly increased patient volumes. Our consultation load in the first quarter of 2020 alone more than doubled that of the whole of 2019. So with that, we had to deal overnight with a lot of scaling and capacity issues. And what this really entailed was that we had to really consider how we could step up our rostering of the doctors to meet patient demand, as well as server load management.
Since the circuit breaker started, there was like a new norm. People were staying at home. There was a huge demand for delivery services, for fresh groceries to be delivered to people who are at home. And the fact that we have a ready pool of drivers, we could actually bridge this gap and bring what the wet market vendors in Singapore can provide to the customers who are staying at home. So seizing this opportunity, we started TaTa Fresh Market, and ever since the pandemic, we have created more than 10,000 jobs for our drivers, as well as more than $300,000 in revenue for our wet market vendors.
We actually had one potential customer that was looking at how blockchain could solve their problems. And when they got in touch with us, we were able to demonstrate the use of the technology, and we were able to show exactly how the movement of their goods from South Africa into Netherlands. And it was two difficult areas at this point in time. So what was usually an onboarding process of finding a new customer that would take many months, actually we did this in less than 3 months, and they signed on the dotted line after that. So sometimes in crisis, we actually find that there's actually huge opportunities like this.
So firstly, the key lesson to really take note of is to really move as quickly as possible in understanding the situation and to move fast. And what I mean by this is that companies who actually adopted technology and were ahead of the digital curve were actually at an advantage during this period. Introducing digital operating models is a necessity and is here to stay. The market maturity levels actually increased and people were becoming more receptive towards digital healthcare solutions. There was an increasing demand to have more healthcare options actually delivered to the patient's doorstep. So one example would be having certain medical services such as the drawing of blood tests done from the comfort of their home. And credit to the team, during this period, they were able to successfully and seamlessly integrate virtual care services with in-person services, and we were able to roll out our home-based medical service to complement our telemedicine services.
We see the use of new technology, frontier technology, adopted in a much faster way. And I think even for DiMuto ourselves, we are looking at things like hyperspectral cameras to see things like the viruses or bacteria, and even the Brix level or the sweetness level of a fruit without even actually touching the fruit. So this kind of technology is going to be used in a much bigger way or even applied sooner than it was probably thought of before the crisis. We're going to use this data in a way that allows us to now apply in a manner that can use it for the movement of not just goods, but also for money. That this, I think, is going to be the new area for us, and then this can apply into insurance, it can apply into fintech, and this is really going to be exciting times for us, and we're really excited about using the data that we've actually captured.
So moving on, we'll definitely work harder to strengthen our delivery arm so that more people can enjoy our wet market delivery service.
Moving beyond primary care, I think it's important to also consider providing secondary care and allied healthcare services such as specialist teleconsultations and mental wellness services. So really think of Pointcode as your first point of medical contact and advice. And think of us as your regional healthcare passport where you'll be able to use our services from wherever you are, anytime and anywhere.